Kapla. Welcome back to Trekyards. I'm
And
Captain Foley.
and glory to you and your house, Stuart, has been rebuilt a bit. So hopefully there is glory there now. And I'm Klingons.
He is. He's great.
Or second weapons gunner, because it's kind of the same rank in the Klingon KDF, you know.
You can't tell we're talking about Klingons today. And they're back in a big way in Prodigy, which is great, because we've been wondering where the hell they are in Discovery Season 4.
And 3.
Just
and
gone.
3,
yeah. They probably just don't want to double down on their mistake of the way they looked. But hey, guess what? We got real Klingons that are back now.
The first Klingons we got after Discovery were in Lower Decks, which were flawless. And then in Season 2 we even got new armour, so they could even diversify the design lineage, not just referentially taking what was in whatever. So we have had Klingons back in a very, very cartoon form. This is another licensee's choice, much higher detail, much harder to create, and we were questioning where they could look like. You know, it seems like the blip of the Klingons' poor choices of Discovery have been fully retconned out again, because here they are, and was very nice to see, and yet different still. They didn't just use a standard, although they're familiar. I've got some graphics here, obviously, but here's a little collage of the best shots. I don't know if you felt in the episode, but you didn't really get such a clear look at them. There was kind of action-packed-y and throw-them-around-y, and then, they're gone. They weren't really, highlighted so much. So I tried to find, the clearest pictures, but it was somewhat tricky. I don't know if that's how it came across to you.
No, I mean, I was actually surprised to see as much of them as we did. Didn't actually expect to see any of them.
Oh, sure.
The Kobayashi Maru, for sure. So it was a nice treat, for sure. Definitely felt... As soon as I saw the first guy, for a second I thought, is that Worf? Did they put Worf as the captain?
It does look like Worf, yeah.
A little bit, yeah. But then it had more of a Krug vibe to me, especially with his armor. And so, I mean, it tied into the movies, I think, a little bit more than even The Next Generation. As far as armor goes, it feels more like a movie-era Klingon.
Which would make some sense in the abstract. This Kobayashi Maru is kind of from the era, even just updated Federation ship may not have tweaked the Klingon code. Because they had Bird of Prey then too. Keep them classic, I guess. And yes, we have direct comparisons. Now, what do you think of them being sort of red?
That's just the lighting, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I think because a lot of these softwares use light differently than other older ones. In the older softwares, like Lightwave originally, you had the cheap lot of lighting. There was less of those natural bounce back elements. So if you look at a lot of the older shows, if you fire a torpedo, there's no orange light hitting the hull. Even though you'd think when a light source is being fired, there'd be light. And then suddenly when you add really dynamic versions of all those things, it can sometimes look too much, because we've never had that in Star Trek, the very interactiveness. And so even though we literally saw real-life Klingons with a real-life set, to make them bright red would take a lot of light, which would blow out the set. The set's very dark. But in CG, if you throw every light's red in the set, of course the 3D object of a person is being lit red. How do you even turn that off? Well, you can't really, but you're not lighting it in a real way, you're lighting it in a CG way. So I think it's also, like I say, a side effect, or a very, very believable side effect with how red everyone looks. But I'm not going to put my hat in the ring saying they were chose to be bright red-skinned Klingons. I think that's an optical illusion.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I never even once got that impression, so...
I guess if they just have red hair, because you can clearly see the top guy has a red goatee. I don't think his hair's bright red. All their hairs are bright red. So I think, just to get out of the way early on.
I mean, if you look at the comparison shot you have there, the middle one, the way he's lit is exactly the same color-wise and stuff, and that's just because of the lighting on the Bird of Prey bridge, so...
And here they have got the oversized Mek'leth sword, again, as we saw in the previous episode where Dahl was holding it and it was clearly too big, and his also too big, but, maybe Mek'leth sword, because Mek'leths are quite tiny, they're like small little stabby things, not
sabers.
What do you think?
Or scimitars, almost.
Scimitars, yes, that's what I was looking for. What do you think of the 4 pictures, the first 4, then?
I think they're great. The armor looks spot on, and like I said, the chainmail-ness of the first one reminded me a lot of Krug. The bridge and everything just looks so good.
Yeah, the bridge is amazing. Because it was a reuse from a previous episode, or vice versa. As I kind of said, we're going to see it again, and we did straight away. But yeah, so the next picture, I've got a little comparison here showing, yes, Krug's sort of armor vibe, an actual Klingon vibe, and then direct comparison of the armor, because it isn't TNG armor, at least the grunts aren't, and we could see that clearly, but there is a clear precedent. I just want to throw out, yes, it's all good, it's just an older armor style.
We're just kind of plain Jane without any accoutrements, but that's fine, because we've seen that before. We just seem a lot easier to wear.
Yeah. Although more like a puffer jacket version. They don't seem as armory, whereas the classic version has a certain armor vibe, which obviously every Klingon from then on then takes over.
Like I said, I was super impressed, and I want to see more of them. I'm really digging the way they look. Like the animation style is fantastic. They look really, really good. So there's no complaints.
I think my only note is that their skin is a little bit plasticky compared to the other characters, but that's probably the lighting, and well, we know what they should look like more so than random aliens we just met. And it's just skin, whereas like Dahl and such have really dynamic, texturing because they're aliens. So I think there's a certain lack of detail in the skin because it is just basically humanoid skin. Small thing, not the end of the world. So it'd be nice to see them in conventional lighting, less dynamic, see how that flares. But I love the fact that you compared the middle guy. Like they clearly took inspiration from this movie, which if the Kobayashi Maru is an older iteration, meta logic, this makes sense. Just throw the Enterprise D in instead.
I know we saw some Klingons at the beginning of the motion picture, but we really didn't see what new Klingons look like until Star Trek 3 anyway. So it's a good source to draw from. Really like the armor. It's a lot more diverse, I think, than we see in TNG. So, it fits well.
Yeah. And once we got to Star Trek 3, the Klingons didn't change for 30 years. Because that was the art design that Michael Westmore went for TNG. And then he went into Star Trek 6, diversified the heads, and then used those as a baseline for all of the Klingons up until Enterprise. So every Klingon, as of 3 was the style that was set, moving on for, until Discovery. So very consistent for a lot of years. All credit to them. Beautiful to see. And this was, I said in our other review, this was the moment the episode kind of went, this was the cherry on top moment. We didn't need this, but as soon as you saw it, like, oh, we did need this. This is what amped it up to that 11.
Yeah, because if we didn't get that scene, we would have been like, oh, it was so great, but it would have been great to see the Klingons or see them on their bridge. So, yeah, they know what we want. They know what we like. They are fans, and it shows.
Oh, God.
So,
well, this was their way of...
was really good.
Well, this was their way of doing it different, because no one's ever obviously... Like, you'd never imagine Saavik in a Star Trek 2 simulator for them to let her beam out of a simulator into a Klingon bird of prey simulator. Like, they wouldn't even... So this is like instantly throws you in a new way.
Well, yeah, because those were simulators. Like,
yes.
They weren't holodecks.
Mm-hmm.
So, once you get the holodeck aspect, you can do a lot more. So
as we see.
Yeah.
Good stuff, guys. Good stuff.
Yeah. So, let us know what you guys think down below. Did they bring honor to their house by showing us these Klingons? I think they did. And if you want the Gowron eyes, glory to you. Comment down below, guys, and let us know what you think of this. We know everybody's been wanting to see Klingons again, especially even in Discovery. People are like, where are the Klingons at? What are they doing? Let's hear something. But, I don't think they want to just keep showing the art design that they did from season 1 and 2 there. So, anyway, at least we got them here. Let us know your comments, your thoughts. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and, bring honor to our house by joining us for the lives when we hang out with you guys and discuss these very topics.
Mm-hmm. And of course, support us to beat the Kobayashi Maru someday, because only with your direct donations can you help it. Maybe not allow it, but help it. Support us via Patreon, which is monthly, PayPal, which is singular, trekyards@hotmail.com, join the YouTube channel, which is monthly as well, and have a little icon next to your name. We know that you've supported. That's super amazing. Or super chatting during the lives, direct communication, 1-to-1, 1-to-2, 2 to 100 of you. You know what I mean. It's fun. We love it, and it's great communication. And we kind of thrive on that sort of stuff because we just builds a conversation. We love discussing, debating, and thinking about the stuff.
So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, he is Commander Calkins.
He is Captain Foley.
Or First Gunnery. What are you? I don't even know what rank you are in the Klingon Empire. Anyway, bye, guys.
Bye, guys.